All right, so I wrote this tutorial, these docs, but I also put in quick, helpful information in Flask-Commands in the terminal using docstrings. Um, as all good programmers should do, you should always write docstrings. They're just descriptions of what a function does. Essentially, these are just functions. You're running Python functions in the command line. Um, so to see that, you can type in Flask minus help. So let's just show you what that looks like. Now, there's a lot here to kind of unpack. Here we get a lot of this comes from, some of this comes from Flask, and then some of this is coming from Flask-Commands. The things that are coming from Flask-Commands is this part here. So I didn't write the help for routes or run or shell. Those are coming from Flask, the Flask package. I did the commands, the Flask, the make controller, make model, make view, and new. Essentially, at the stage of version 033, those are the only four commands the only four commands that Flask-Commands currently has. I have in the works more, like in my head, I know of more commands that I want, but just to see if this package is useful and kind of gets off the ground, these are the four main ones. Honestly, if you conquer these four commands, you're going to be developing web apps super quick, almost like you're using an AI, but without using the AI. And the advantage to this is you're going to have a consistent structure in your applications, which is, you'll see as you continue to develop, will be so useful to you. Um, it will, the naming structure and these type things, they really just explain the app so that when you set this app down and you come back to it a year later, you're like, oh yeah, this thing is related to this thing, and I can see it in the folder structures. I can see it in the file names. Okay, so enough of that. Let's show you what you can see more information if you type in Flask new. If you want to know what this Flask, it creates a new Flask project scaffold. So if you type in minus help on Flask new, you're going to get more information about that. And there's some optional, there's one optional flag if you want, which is minus no DB. So that skips building the database. If you want more information, say about Flask make controller, you would type in Flask make controller minus help, and then you would see all the optional flags that I have there. So you can optionally create the CRUD or create a model, but then you need to give the model name. You can have it generate the model with -m. That's the shortcut to minus generate model. I'll use -m. In the tutorials, there's also making things flat or making them nested. And we'll go over all this in the tutorials. So this is just kind of a short, brief overview of what is all in the docs. So they're helpful things there. Minus help is, well, it's helpful. All right, we'll see you in the next, when we'll start actually using Flask commands. See you in the next video.